we'll have some discussion. You know, Bob is saying, hey, I can do this, but I know when that building sells, someone's going to be doing something saying, you know, I want to use more than 200 gallons a day. So anyways, my advice is that until we complete the design review, that we reject this application.
I understand. Yeah, that makes sense for the time being.
Yeah, and because we don't even know where the well is going. So we've got to work it through. And I just sent the thing to Bob saying, you know, this review by email is not the way to do it. We have to talk and get through this thing, get it done. So we'll get it done.
Okay.
So okay, so that's that. So then we can and if Bob does end up showing up, we'll just tell him that we've got to review that. We voted to reject this for now until we're done the design. Next one that I have is Colleen's timesheet. It's a normal 70-hour 2-week timesheet. Are you okay with that, Lee?
Yes, thank you.
I am too, Colleen. That's approved.
Okay, thanks.
The next one is permits, the payables. We've got the permits for the Board of Health, plumbing inspector, and haulers, etc., is $730. Board of Health licenses $10. Perk test fees actually $200, and that's it for a total of $940. Are you okay with that turnover, Lee?
Yes, thank you.
I am too, Colleen. So that's done. That's approved.
Okay.
Next one is a purchase request. That one is for $80.44. I've got a box of sheet protectors, hanging file boxes, push pins, computer rest for a total of $80.44. That's all to all the same place, right, Colleen?
Yeah, all through Quill.
All to Quill.
Oh, okay.
And I'm okay with that too, Colleen. So that's approved.
Okay, thanks. You got don't forget the meeting minutes too.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was gonna.
Good point.
I didn't have any changes to that one. Did I, Colleen?
No.
So are you okay with that one, Lee?
Yes, yeah.
I am too, Colleen. So that's approved.
Okay.
For some reason, I skip those all the time, Colleen.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know why, because it's just kind of sitting there. I skip it. So as long as you're paying attention, we'll get them done.
As long as I catch it. Yeah, we're okay.
So the next one is an installer's permit for excavation plus Jerome Talbot. Colleen, you said that he's had one in 2017, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he's had one before, I think more than once, but I know the last one was 2017 from what I looked up. So, yeah.
So are you okay with that, Lee?
Yeah.
I am too, Colleen. So that's
okay.
So that's approved.
Okay.
I've got the next one is the well permit for the one we just did at the rear 175 South.
Okay.
That's Mr. Smith. The only caution, Lee, is to make sure you've got the wrong drawing, and if that well gets installed to that old drawing, it's going to be in the wrong place. So someone has to make sure. Colleen, did Alan said he was going to drop off the new drawings for you?
He did. He did drop off the drawing, so I can fax that over to Lee tomorrow, the new one.
Okay.
Okay. So that was my only caution. So are we okay with that, Lee?
Okay.
Sure, yeah, as soon as, Colleen sends that, and then the welder will, I'm guessing, will give me a call, and we'll make sure that we all agree on, the new data. Should be good.
Okay, so Colleen, we approve that as well.
Okay.
Now I've got a temporary food license for October 16th, the chicken dinner drive-through, and there's also the temporary food establishment permit. So there's two of these. Eileen, this is another thing where they came in late, right? They didn't give us our 4 weeks on this one.
Church of Christ, yes, they did. And I spoke to Mary and Mason about that. Now, I know that her ServSafe person was aware of the 4 weeks. She said she was not aware. But I know Dennis Doucette was aware of it, so I did make her aware, and so,
Do you think to be safe and to be, well, consistent, not necessarily safe, it's with the Immaculate Heart of Mary, when they did this, we asked their person to talk to us the next week. Do you think you could actually ask if it apparently is a problem with Dennis and Marion, could you ask them to attend our next meeting for just a minute so we can talk to them?
Sure, yeah.
Lee, do you think that's the right thing to do?
Yeah, I agree. We keep going around, and we're trying to, be flexible, of course, with the churches in town, but we still need time to get our job done and make sure that people are as protected and safe as we can.
Okay. So on the first one, are we going to approve the temporary food license? I think we should. What do you think?
I think I agree, we should.
Okay, Colleen, so that's approved. The next one is the
Okay.
application for the temporary food establishment permit. So that's different, right? Or
No,
is
it's
it?
the same.
It's the same,
Temporary
okay.
food Yeah,
Okay,
it's an event that Immaculate Heart of Mary's having, and he got his in a month ahead, so.
okay, so we've got the same, we've got one for the Immaculate Heart of Mary has got a double thing so that the temporary food license and the temporary food establishment permit are the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it is.
now the Immaculate Heart of Mary one is on October 23rd. Are you okay with that, Lee?
Yes, thank you.
And I am too, Colleen.
Okay,
So
and
that's approved.
I'll send those to Lynn, and she'll go beforehand.
Okay. Now
Okay.
as I put my pile of things aside, I buried my agenda in one of these things, so hang on where I look for it, which isn't too clever of me. I may have to have you read the agenda items for me if I can't find it
Okay.
in a second. I have it. Okay. So the next one is Title V inspection report is 225 Chicopee Street. Now that was a conditional pass. Lee, it looked like it needed a new tank and a new D-box.
That's correct. It's, I guess the realtor is from the Boston area. This was a former state rented property.
Yeah, it was, I forget the company. I think there were a lot of people that were living there.
Yeah, there was probably, oh jeepers, probably at least 3 residents, maybe 4, with 2 staff 24/7. So it got some pretty fair amount of usage.
Yeah. But that's all. So we should accept this, receive it, not accept it.
Yeah,
Is that,
yeah,
okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Yep,
Now
okay.
you have one that you brought up, Lee, as long as we're into Title Fives on, what was it, 139 New Ludlow Road?
Yeah, I got a call from Neil Jackson to do a Title V. We went there. Neil's partner uncovered everything, which was fine. Older system, looked like clay tile pipe, exiting the distribution box. Everything was, beat up, but running properly. Liquid levels were good.
So
But
this
then,
wasn't the pump system in the back?
no, this was the house on the street. They recently have done some stonework to the side of the house or on the chimney or something like that. But as it turns out, I was questioned by a few installers about this. I don't know how they knew, but anyway, it turns out that in conversation with Colleen today, apparently the house in 2001 had a Walter Marquette design, never installed. So my obvious question is, how can the system be in failure, which required a design 20 years ago, and it never got put in, and now it's passable? Something's wrong. I mean, it gives me the impression it's been doctored over the years to get it to where it is now, because if it failed, it didn't heal itself.
No, so you wonder, you were really good with water table? You think you could really determine that this thing wasn't below the water table?
Well, truth be told, we did not dig a deep hole test at the time based upon just the fact that it was operating good the way it was. But I do know across the street, of course, behind that row of houses, that there had been a fairly high water table. I don't know how high we were compared to that, but I know that we all know it's there. And in the back piece, I believe that's a raised system as well.
Yeah. In fact, especially when you look at where Walter's design has it way up in the air, that.
Yeah, at the very least, I believe that without pointing fingers at anybody, I believe that there was the potential appears to be there that there might have been some deception prior to Neil's arrival on site. And I'm not suggesting it was done this year or last year, but over the last 20 years, somebody resurrected the system, and I don't know how they did it.
It seems to me that it's reasonable to be looking at a deep hole that says, where is that water table?
I would agree. Yeah, and I have had a conversation with Neil, and he's not comfortable with going forward. He's not willing to. I mean, he stands by his data because that's what we saw, but the data we saw wasn't. I don't know how to say it. It didn't appear to be genuine data.
But the minimum in soil like that, Neil has to write down how he determined the water table. And how did if he didn't dig a hole and the system's, I don't know, if it's got clay pipe, it's probably 50 years old. How can it?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be that old or more. So yeah, someone's got to figure out what their doing. I think he should be back in touch with the homeowner, and in lieu of the fact that we have a design on file we never installed, somebody somewhere may have jetted the lines. Who knows? But
No,
should
but
we
it-
look at it?
Right, but the minimum you would think is the, wonder, was it a new septic tank or is it a 50-year-old septic tank?
Appears to be.
Wow.
Yeah, had the drop-in baffles.
And did that actually get pumped out and you knew that the septic tank was sound?
They were supposed to do the pumping in my absence. The pump truck did not get there at the time of
Yeah.
the inspection.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I told Neil that I thought we should be, he's waiting to hear the water usage from the homeowner. He hasn't received it yet.
Yeah.
He's not
Oh.
submitted, the report has not been submitted, but what little I know, I'm suggesting to the board that we reject this until it's looked at further.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet, right?
Correct.
Maybe. Do you want to talk to Neil or I
Yeah,
can give
I'll give him
Neil.
a call.
Yeah, and the minimum that I would like to see, and I would challenge when it comes through, is how the water table was determined, and it's kind of hard for him to say he looked at prior perk tests and that's where I would be going from Neil's standpoint. If he really is standing by that septic tank, and boy, that seems hard to believe that a 50-plus-year-old septic tank is in great shape, and you can't tell because you didn't look in it. But for sure, looking at that water table and seeing where that is as you point out, someplace in the past, 20 years ago, there was a problem that was bad enough to have a pump system designed.
Exactly.
So, okay, so you'll give Neil a call.
I will, for sure.
Okay, now the next one is complaints at 156 New Ludlow Road. I went there today, and it's to 154. And there's an interesting situation. There are 2 4-inch pipes coming out on 54's lot and I talked to the woman that owns 154, and she said the lot line is nominal 10 feet, 8 feet from her garage. And these pipes are touching her garage foundation going out into the backyard of 154. And what she's done on 154 is extend with flexible pipe out away from her house. And I explained that it's hard to prove that out there that anybody's causing flooding in basements to anybody else, because they're in a spot that across New Ludlow Road, the water comes up almost to the road. And she understood that. But I said the pipes could be coming from your house for all you know. She says, I really don't want to just dig up my lawn to find out where the pipes go. And I said, well, they're on your land. They're your pipes. And so what she's going to do is she's going to plug them both up. And I said, something's going to happen if you're seeing water pouring out of those pipes and you stop the water, it's going to go someplace else. I said, so just be careful. It may be your house that it goes into. So that's her step. She said it's her option. I said, they're your pipes. they're on your land. And, I said, you can go to Home Depot or someplace and you can buy a plug for a 4-inch pipe so that you don't do anything permanent. That if you say, oh, this is a mistake, that you can unplug it right away. But that's what she's going to do. So that's my report for that one.
I hope that works out all right for her.
I think what it's going to do is it's going to pinpoint where the problem is caused by. I don't think plugging up a pipe that's got a lot of water draining out of it is ever going to be a good solution.
It usually isn't.
No. So anyways, the next one is 43 East Street. That one we've got a report from Laurie McCool, saying that the soil that we found was the same as what was my water table was the same. It was found with the Sheehan design. Greg Everson told me that the system that's in there is essentially a new system, and that the only thing that the Title V said is that it hasn't been used for so long that the board would probably be requiring that the leach field be reevaluated after it's being used. But in terms of using it remember, that's the one that I don't know whether a 5-bedroom house or something, and they're going to turn it into a 3-bedroom house because they couldn't salvage enough of the house to rebuild it. And they wanted to reuse the system if they could. And at this case, it's designed for way more than a 3-bedroom house. So if the design is big enough, and it looks like it was designed for the right conditions, and it looks like it's in good condition. And if for sure, if they weren't going to just be essentially taking the whole house down, if they would have said, gee, would you let us rebuild this? We would be saying, yeah, you can rebuild it. It works. It's big enough and it works. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds reasonable that they're going to go through it. Now, is this, maybe it doesn't matter, but is this the new owner that's doing this, or is this somebody who's going to just try to, buy
they're going to
place?
flip this.
Okay, so they need to be prepared to give us the 3 to 6 months of usage on that system prior to us walking away.
That's
Correct.
what I think. That we would just tell them so that they know that, when they pass ownership on, that there is a condition. But in the event that it fails, I'm just looking on the downside. It's just that someone would have to redo the leach field if it failed. But I'm guessing it's not going to fail. I'm guessing this is a new system with no time on it.
That's what it sounds like.
So Colleen, that's what we're going to do. We're going to let them. We'll sign off on the building permit, but they need to know that they need to convey to the new owners that 3 to 6 months after it's been in use, we're going to want the leach field checked again. It's basically, it's going to be a D-box check.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just to make sure that the leach field hasn't failed.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, the next one is the grant for the air sensors. I did submit it. Funny process to submit it. Luckily that after it was submitted, it came back to Colleen because when I submitted it, there was no way for me to get a copy of what I submitted. So anyways, it went in for the 6 units that were at, and as I got through the program, it is definitely set up for environmental justice neighborhoods, which are underprivileged kind of and low income neighborhoods. They said that we should be looking on a map. There's a state map with environmental justice communities on it. We have none on ours, but you can see on at least my little explanation of where we were going to put the second sensor. I said that Fens Hill and Hilltop were both subsidized housing that fit under their definitions of the environmental justice community. So hopefully we'll get it. And at the end, I did say that Herb had prepared an editorial, and I took the one that Colleen gave us and I attached it to the application and said that our community was enthusiastically interested in this. So we'll see. It had to be in by the 1st of October.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
We've got I don't know what we have for COVID issues. It looks like at least statewide, it looks like the numbers of hospitalizations and new cases, it looks like they've turned and they're starting to go down. But as I reminded Colleen, these kind of numbers we're seeing right now, we didn't see until near Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving last year. So this still may go up. Looks like our town seems to have been flattened out, but it's flattened out at almost the red level. We're just into the yellow. So we're not in good shape at all. And for us, red is 25 cases in 2 weeks, and we're running, it looks like we're 18, 22, 23. And to put it in perspective, if we look at a year and a half ago, we were red at 7 cases. So before they changed these rules. So we're 3 times as bad as when, the sky fell on us and we had remember the people, the SWAT team from the state come to try to help us. And we're 3 times that right now. So.
Yeah, exactly. Not good.
So, and I think I'm gonna ask, maybe you can get in touch with Nancy Jinks, Colleen. The school has got another program, a reporting program that I think they've started pool testing, and it would be nice to understand what's happening at the school. That we're sharing the town results with the schools, but just so we can kind of understand what's happening with the schools. If you could get in touch with them.
Sure.
McDuffie, actually, you know what? It'd be a good thing if you could get in touch with Andrew Parker at McDuffie and ask him if he'll let us know what their pool results. I can tell you that I was talking to him this week, and they had, I think the week before, they had one section of their pool that ended up failing, but I think it was a false positive. And last week, I think they tested 93% of the people and they had no positives.
Okay, pretty good.
So if we can get that information, just so we're tracking that too, Colleen. I think they report it. I think the Stephen Sullivan reports it on a weekly basis, but I don't know. It'd be nice if they just, as you know, put us in on their distribution. But Nancy would definitely be the person to talk to. So go ahead, Lee.
Hey, excuse me.
No.
Sorry. This is Charles Smith. I'm the owner of the lot at 175 South Street rear.
Yes, sir.
I was just wondering. I've been on the call since about 7:20. I was just wondering if Alan Weiss was able to.
Alan's been.
The septic.
Yeah, Charles. Alan's been here and gone. You're all set.
Oh, okay.
And that there were two. Well, that it was approved subject to fill, which I'm sure you knew.
Yep.
Subject to the trench permit, which you get from you don't, but your installer will get from the Board of Health before he puts the septic tank in. And the last thing is, Lee, you also came up as your well permit. And the only thing that Lee typically goes out with the installer and sites the well. And I just cautioned that Alan's got to send us in. Colleen says he has in fact given the new drawings in that are with the system pushed back towards the golf course, and just to make sure that when Lee sites the well, we're using the right drawing so it goes in the right place.
So can I go ahead and get the digger to get him scheduled and come out and start doing that, or what else needs to happen for the well?
You have to deal with the for sure. You can talk to the well guy, because I think you won't get the building permit without the well being in. So that's going to be the next thing, and the well driller will typically get in touch with Lee, and they'll locate it, and then they'll have a well, and then you can go to the building and inspector. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
We have to go back in there in the spring, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's going to be, you have to re-perk it in March.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to re-perk it. We just have to look for the water table. But what you're going to have to do, what Alan didn't do, that I forgot, that when I did this and told Lee about the approval, Colleen, we have to approve that also subject to water table determination in the spring, but Charles has to get that paper. It's not going to stop you from doing your well, Charles.
The risk paper, I sent that in.
Yeah, he does have that.
Okay. Then what you just need to know, that as part to get that, you have to hear from us that you're going ahead with this, and you can't put in the septic system until the water table is determined. And also, whatever you do is at your own risk. So if that water table is higher and the system has to come higher, then you would have to deal with that. But on what you've also got going is that the times that we've been in there, we've seen the water table was determined by the models, the colors in the soil, and that the water was much lower than the models. And the models aren't going to change. The models are there. And so you just are assuming that risk when you do this.
Okay.
So you've complied. We will sign off on the building permit, but you cannot build the septic system until the spring comes. It can be on March 1st.
Okay.
How'd you do that? And I think I think Alan left 2 pipes in the ground out there.
He did. Yep.
And so to do the water table, you don't even have to have a machine out there. Al and I will go out with a tape measure and we'll stick the tape in the pipe and determine where the water is.
Sounds good.
Okay?
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, good night.
All right. Good night.
So in terms of mail, email, phone calls, other business, Colleen, you did say that you talked to Herb last week?
I talked to her Friday because I wasn't sure if he was, needed the packet for this meeting. So I called, asked him if he was coming to the meeting. He said no, he didn't think he was quite ready, but he would probably be ready for the next meeting after this one. So
Okay.
I said, okay. And then you reminded me, of course, we're not having that meeting October 12th, but so yeah, he'll probably be at the next meeting, I would say. My phone cut out for a minute. I had to redial in. You were
Okay.
talking about the schools. You want me to ask Nancy Jenks and Andrew Parker if they can send the board like results from their testing the students?
Sure. So that they
Okay.
will, that they have a report that says I'm sure they have one that's on the pool testing, but they also have a report that says this is how many children have this. This is how many got the disease in the school. And it would be nice just if we knew that. And the other, did you catch the thing with Charles Smith that saying that has to also be subject to water table determination?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I caught all that. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So what other items do we have?
Nothing that I can think of. I think we're all set with that. The agenda.
Okay, Lee, do you have anything?
Good at the moment, thank you.
Okay, then, and I don't think I have anything either. No, I'm all set. So, okay, then, good
Okay.
night, everybody. And
Okay, good luck with your eye surgery.